Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you can become. Built one day at a time. If you want to change your life, you don't need a new year, a big plan, or more motivation. What you really need is 5 strong daily habits and 30 days of commitment. That's it. This video is called 5 Daily Habits That Will Change Your Life in 30 Days, because that's exactly what it's designed to help you do. We're not talking about habits that sound good. We're talking about habits that actually work. Habits that build your focus, raise your energy, protect your time, and pull you out of excuses. In the next few minutes, you'll learn 5 things to do every single day that will sharpen your mind, fix your routine, and create progress you can see and feel. If you apply these habits for the next 30 days, you won't have to tell people you've changed. They'll see it for themselves. Number 1, cut down talk and increase how much you do. You know, it's easy to say you want to change your life. That's the part anyone can do. What's hard is turning that talk into real movement. That's where most people get stuck. They talk too much and do too little. And the gap between what they say and what they do, that's the reason their life. If you want your life to look different in 30 days, you have to start with this. Cut down talk and increase how much you do. That's not just a suggestion. That's a requirement. Because every time you talk about what you're going to do instead of doing it, you train your brain to be satisfied with noise instead of progress. You feel good for 5 minutes, and then you wonder why nothing's improving. People love to talk about their goals. They enjoy saying what they're about to build, the business they're going to start, the weight they'll lose, the books they'll read, the change they'll make. But here's the truth. Words without action are just empty promises you keep making to yourself. And each time you do it, you become weaker, not stronger. Weaker, because deep down you know you're avoiding the work. If you're serious about changing your life in 30 days, you need to reverse that habit completely. Speak less. Say only what you're ready to act on. Don't use your words to impress people. Use your results. That's how discipline grows. That's how confidence grows. When you do the thing instead of explaining the thing, there's a kind of quiet power in a person who's not trying to convince anyone. Because their results already do the talking. They're not rushing to post about every move. They're not explaining their plans over and over. They're working. They're building. They're learning. That's who you need to become. Not the person who constantly announces their goals, but the one who makes progress in silence. Start paying attention to how much time you spend talking about your life versus actually improving it. That's a hard truth to face, but it's necessary. You can track it by hours. You can ask yourself, how many hours did I talk about changing? How many hours did I spend doing something that actually moved me forward? If the balance is off, that's where your change begins. Talk feels safe. It's comfortable. You can control how you sound. You can pick your words. But doing is risky. Doing reveals whether you're truly committed or just pretending. Doing is where your confidence is tested. That's why most people avoid it. That's why they stay stuck. They convince themselves that planning and talking are enough. But they're not. You don't need more time. You need more action. You need less explaining and more proving. Think about it. How much progress would you make if you stopped talking about your plans and put that energy into action every single day for 30 days? You'd be shocked how far you'd come. And not just physically, but mentally. You'd feel different, stronger, more focused. Because when you act, you start to respect yourself again. That's something most people are missing. Self-respect. You lose it when you keep talking and don't follow through. But when you finally break that cycle and start acting on your goals, even when it's hard, you rebuild that inner respect, brick by brick. That's where pride comes from. Not from saying the right thing, but from doing the right thing even when no one sees it. And here's something you need to understand. Change isn't loud. Progress isn't noisy. The most powerful habits are quiet. They happen when you wake up and do the hard thing before anyone's watching. They happen when you choose discipline over distraction. When you turn off the noise and do the work, even if nobody claps. Even if nobody notices. You notice, you feel it, and that's what matters most. If you want to start this habit today, start with your time. Look at your day and track how much of it is spent in action. Cut out the time you spend announcing what you're going to do. Use that time instead to just start. One action, one step, right now, not tomorrow, now. And every time you feel the urge to talk about your plans, pause, ask yourself, have I done enough to back this up yet? If the answer is no, get moving. Build something first. Then if you still feel like sharing, your results will speak so loud, you won't need to say much. Remember this, people trust results, not opinions. People follow discipline, not promises. And you can be that person. You can change everything in 30 days by shifting from noise to movement, from talk to action. It doesn't matter how long you've been stuck. It doesn't matter how many times you've said you'll change before. What matters is what you do today. And if you start with this one habit, cutting the talk and increasing the doing, you'll look back in 30 days and see a completely different version of yourself. It won't be because you read more books. It won't be because you had the perfect plan. It'll be because you finally stopped explaining and started doing. And that's when the real transformation begins. Number 2, write down clear goals and stick to them daily. Most people drift through their days with no real direction. They wake up, check their phone, follow whatever comes up, and end the day wondering why they didn't get anything meaningful done. That's not because they're lazy, it's because they're not intentional. If you don't decide what matters each day, the world will decide for you. And most of the time, it won't be in your favor. That's why writing down clear goals and sticking to them daily is not just important. It's non-negotiable if you want to see real change in 30 days. A goal brings structure. It gives your mind something to aim at. Without it, your day becomes reactive instead of proactive. You wake up late, check messages, scroll through things that don't matter, get caught up in problems that don't belong to you, and waste the few productive hours you have. But when you start your day with a list of clear, written goals, everything changes. You're no longer reacting to life. You're leading it. Writing down goals forces clarity. It makes you decide what you're really trying to accomplish today. Not what sounds good, not what feels good, but what actually moves your life forward. When you write it down, your mind understands this is not a maybe. This is what must happen. It becomes a mental contract with yourself. And people who keep their word to themselves build strength, discipline, and self-respect. You don't need to write a novel. You don't need to list 25 things. Just start simple. 3 to 5 clear goals for the day. Write them down. Not in your phone notes, on paper, pen to paper. Why? Because that physical act engages your brain. It makes it real. It takes it from being a passing thought to something concrete, something you can see, something you can check off. That builds a sense of completion, and every small completion feeds your momentum. You might think, I already know what I need to do, and that's exactly why you're not doing it. Knowing is passive. Writing it down is active. And acting on your goals daily is the only way to change your life in a short amount of time. People who write goals are not smarter than others. They're just more organized in their thinking. And that organization gives them power. Stick to your goals. That's where most people fall apart. They write something down in the morning, and by noon they've abandoned the list. They get distracted. They get lazy. They make excuses. And the mind starts telling stories like, you can do it tomorrow, or one day off won't hurt. That voice is always waiting. It's always trying to pull you back into comfort. You have to override it. When you see your list, don't negotiate with it. Don't rearrange it to suit your mood. Treat it like a contract. You made this list when you were clear-headed, when you were focused on growth, when you knew what needed to get done. That version of you needs to be in charge, not the version that wants to take the easy way out halfway through the day. Every time you follow through with a written goal, you teach your brain that your words matter. You build mental integrity. You become someone who finishes what they start. And that's rare. That's why people notice when someone like that walks in the room. It's not because they talk louder, it's because they follow through. You can feel it. Write down goals that are measurable. Be specific. Don't write, be productive. Write, read 10 pages. Call 3 clients. Go to the gym for 1 hour. Write 1 full page. The more specific you are, the clearer your path becomes. Vague goals lead to vague results. Clear goals lead to clear movement. And the more you move forward, the more you believe in yourself. That's the part most people miss. They think confidence comes first. No, confidence comes from completion, from stacking up small wins, from seeing yourself do what you promised to do. And it starts with one daily list of goals that you don't ignore. You write it, you commit to it, and you do it even when it's inconvenient. That's the difference between those who change their life and those who only talk about it. Some days you'll feel like skipping the list. You'll be tired, you'll be stressed, you'll feel behind. That's exactly when the habit matters most. Consistency doesn't mean perfect days. It means showing up even on the off days, writing down your goals even when you don't want to. Why? Because that act alone resets your focus. It tells your mind, today still matters. Don't just write the goals in the morning and forget them. Keep them with you. Look at them during the day. Check in, ask yourself, am I moving toward this or away from it? Don't wait until the end of the day to realize you lost focus. Catch it early, adjust quickly, use your list as a guide, not just a reminder. When you finish a goal, check it off. That simple act sends a message to your brain that progress is happening. It's a small moment, but it matters. Because when you repeat that every day for 30 days, something shifts in your identity. You're no longer someone who hopes life improves. You're someone who makes it improve by working the plan one goal at a time. You'll also notice that writing down your goals brings awareness to how much time you waste. You start realizing how many minutes slip away doing things that don't align with your priorities. That awareness is painful at first, but it's powerful. Because now you can make changes. You can take back control. You can say no to things that pull you away from your list, not because you're being difficult, but because you've already decided what matters today. Over time, your list becomes your compass. It keeps you grounded when distractions show up. It gives you focus when emotions are high. It reminds you who you're becoming, not just who you've been. You start to live with intention. You stop chasing everything and start committing to a few important things each day. That kind of focus builds momentum, and momentum creates real change. You don't need to wait for the perfect time to begin. You don't need a big plan. Just grab a notebook, write down your goals for today, and get moving. Repeat that tomorrow and again the next day. Do that for 30 days. Watch what happens. You'll be clearer, sharper, more confident, more productive, and you'll trust yourself in a way you maybe haven't before. The habit is simple, but don't confuse simple with easy. It will take effort. It will take honesty. It will take the discipline to do it even when no one's watching. But that's what makes it powerful. That's what makes it transformative. And if you do it right, if you write down clear goals and stick to them daily, you won't need to convince anyone that you're changing. They'll see it, they'll feel it, but most importantly, you'll feel it. And you'll know it's real. Number 3, Repeat one powerful routine until it becomes automatic. If you want real change in your life, don't keep starting over every few days. That's where most people fail. They begin something strong, then quit by the end of the week. They try everything once or twice, then move on when it gets uncomfortable. But progress only shows up when you commit to one thing and repeat it until it becomes second nature. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. It's not exciting. It's not flashy. But it works. Doing something once doesn't make it part of your life. Doing it occasionally doesn't build a habit. Only when you repeat one powerful routine every single day until you no longer have to think about it, that's when your identity starts to shift. That's when results start stacking up. That's when change becomes real, because now it's part of you. You're no longer deciding whether or not to do it. You just do it. It's automatic. The hard part is getting through the beginning. At first, the routine feels uncomfortable. Your body resists it. Your mind fights it. You feel like skipping. You think it's too small to matter. You convince yourself you can do it later. But that's exactly why most people stay stuck. They don't give it enough time to stick. They quit before it has a chance to become a part of them. You have to pick one routine that aligns with what you truly want to improve. Not 10 things, one thing. Keep it simple. It could be waking up at the same time every day. It could be doing a focused workout every morning. It could be writing down your top 3 priorities before you start your day. It could be spending 30 minutes learning a new skill. Whatever it is, commit to it fully and then repeat it every single day, no matter how you feel. Feelings can't lead the way when you're building a new routine. If you only act when you feel good, you'll stay inconsistent forever. You have to act even when it's uncomfortable, even when you're tired, even when you're not in the mood, because that's what makes the routine stronger. The more you do it without negotiation, the faster it becomes automatic. Most people think motivation is the key. It's not. Motivation fades. Discipline lasts. And discipline is built through repetition, through showing up again and again, through doing the thing without needing a reminder or a reason. That's how routines become powerful. That's how they change you, because they rewire how you operate. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. If you miss a day, get back on track immediately. Don't make excuses. Don't delay. One missed day can quickly turn into a bad habit if you don't correct it fast. Consistency is what turns action into identity. You want to be the kind of person who does this thing without effort. And that comes from doing it enough times that it no longer feels new. When something becomes automatic, it frees up mental space. You no longer have to waste energy deciding whether to do it. You just do it. That gives you more clarity, more focus, and more momentum. You stop overthinking and start acting. You start stacking up small wins every single day, and those wins build confidence. People underestimate the power of one strong habit. They think change has to be big and dramatic. But most of the time, the biggest change comes from one quiet action done consistently. One powerful routine that reshapes how you see yourself. That's how transformation begins. Not with huge moves, but with small actions repeated until they stick. Track your progress. Keep a record of how many days you've followed through, not to pressure yourself, but to build self-awareness. Every day you complete the routine is a win. It's proof that you're showing up. And the more wins you collect, the easier it becomes to keep going. You build momentum that carries you forward, even when things get hard. In the beginning, set a fixed time for your routine. Don't leave it up to chance. Make it part of your schedule. Treat it like an appointment that can't be moved. If it's important to you, you'll make time. And once you do it enough times, it'll feel strange not to do it. That's when you know it's becoming automatic. There will be days you want to skip. Days when your energy is low, or your mood is off, or life feels overwhelming. That's normal. What matters is that you show up anyway. The discipline you build on hard days is more valuable than the effort you put in on easy days, because it proves to yourself that you're not ruled by comfort, you're ruled by commitment. People who build strong routines don't wait for perfect conditions. They create the habit first, and the results follow. You don't need to know how everything will work out. You just need to repeat the right action until it changes you. Over time, that one routine will become a foundation. It will create ripple effects in other areas of your life. It will strengthen your mindset. It will sharpen your focus. It will make you more resilient. Don't rush the process. Habits take time. That's not a weakness. That's human nature. Be patient. Stay committed. Trust that every day you repeat the routine, you're becoming stronger. You're building something real. You're creating a new version of yourself. One that doesn't rely on willpower, but on structure. One that doesn't wait to feel ready, but takes action by default. When others look at your progress, they might not see the work behind it. They'll say you're disciplined. They'll say you're lucky, but you'll know the truth. You'll know it came from showing up day after day, repeating the same routine until it became part of your life. That's what separates people who succeed from those who stay the same. You don't need a secret formula. You don't need more advice. You need a decision. Pick the routine. Start today. Repeat it tomorrow. And the day after that. Keep going until it becomes automatic. Not because it's easy, but because you've made it who you are. That's where the real power comes from. Not in trying everything once, but in sticking with one powerful action until it changes your life. Number 4, track how you waste time and fix it fast. Time doesn't slip away because the day moves too fast. It disappears because you don't notice where it's going. And if you want to change your life in 30 days, you need to get serious about where your time is being spent. Every day, people lose hours to distractions they don't even remember. They look up and wonder why they feel behind, why their goals are stuck, why nothing has improved. But they never take the time to trace back where their energy went. Until you track how you're wasting time, you will always feel like you're working hard without results. You have to become brutally honest with yourself. Not defensive, not avoidant, honest. That means sitting down and breaking your day apart.
Not how you imagine it went, but how it actually went.
What time did you wake up? How long did you stay on your phone before getting out of bed? How many minutes did you spend scrolling, checking, tapping through meaningless things that didn't move your life forward? You have to get specific. Vague awareness changes nothing. Specific awareness changes everything. The most successful people don't have more hours in their day. They just know where every hour is going, and they correct quickly when something pulls them off track. That's the difference. They catch the leak before it becomes a flood. You must learn to do the same. You can't afford to waste another month saying, "I'll do better tomorrow," when you don't even know what went wrong today. Start writing down what you do every hour for the next 3 days. That's not extreme. That's called ownership. Track your actions the same way you'd track your money if you were trying to save. You can't fix what you don't measure. When you write it all down, you'll see it clearly. That YouTube video you said would be 5 minutes turned into 40. That phone call that wasn't necessary stole your focus. That one text led to 20 minutes of jumping between apps. And you called it a busy day. But it wasn't busy, it was just scattered. The mind loves to trick you into thinking you're being productive when you're just being active. Movement isn't progress unless it's moving you in the right direction. You can reply to emails, clean your desk, chat with a friend, and still end the day with no progress on your real priorities. But when you track everything, those lies fall apart. You can't hide from the truth on paper. The next step is not to feel bad about what you discover. That's not the point. This is not about guilt, it's about clarity. When you see your patterns, you can change them. You can replace mindless activity with focused action. You can take back hours that used to vanish without your permission. But it only happens if you move fast. Awareness means nothing if you don't act on it quickly. Fixing time waste means setting hard rules for yourself. You don't wait until you feel like being focused. You decide that certain things are no longer allowed to eat your time. That means no more random scrolling before your work is done. That means turning off notifications that constantly break your flow. That means creating time blocks where you do one thing only and protect it like it's your life. Because in a way it is. Your time is your life. You must learn to treat wasted time like a problem you won't tolerate. Not a small one, a major one. Because every minute spent on the wrong thing takes you away from the right thing. Every distraction you allow becomes a habit, and habits become your reality. So if you waste hours, it's not just about losing time. It's about shaping a life where average becomes normal and regret follows. There's no need to guess. If something wastes your time and you know it, stop doing it. Don't overthink it. You already know the apps that pull you in. You already know the conversations that leave you drained. You already know what hours of your day disappear with no return. The solution is not complicated. The hard part is doing what you already know you need to do. Make a simple rule for yourself. If something doesn't move your goals forward, limit it. You don't need to cut everything out, but you do need to control it. You do need to be intentional. You do need to say no when something eats your time without adding value. That one decision will give you more progress in 30 days than any productivity hack ever could. Time tracking will also show you how much potential you've been sitting on. That's the exciting part. When you remove distractions, you discover how much you can actually do. You finish things faster. You feel clearer. You have more mental energy. You start creating results that you used to think required more talent, more luck, or more time. But it was never that. You just needed to stop losing time to things that didn't matter. Another truth most people don't face. Sometimes we waste time on purpose. We avoid progress because progress brings pressure. If you win today, then you're expected to win again tomorrow. If you complete that project, now you have to face what's next. So we waste time not because we're lazy, but because we're afraid of what happens when we finally step up. You must fight that. You must be willing to face what comes with success. To fix time waste fast, you also need to take action the moment you notice it. Don't wait until the end of the week. Correct it right away. If you see yourself slipping into an old pattern, stop and get back on track. The quicker you adjust, the less damage is done. Don't explain, don't justify, just change. That's where real growth happens. Not in long plans, but in small, fast corrections. End each day with a short review. What did I do well? Where did I lose time? What will I do differently tomorrow? This takes 5 minutes, but it gives you back hours. It keeps you honest. It keeps you focused. And over time, it creates a new standard for how you operate. You stop settling for half focus. You stop allowing distractions to win. You raise your level and your life follows. Your time is not a theory. It's a limited, measurable resource. And you're either using it to build something or wasting it watching others build. The sooner you take that seriously, the faster everything starts to improve. Because once you gain control over your time, you gain control over your direction. And with direction comes confidence. With confidence comes action. And with action comes the life you've been trying to reach. You don't need more time. You need more awareness and more urgency. Track where your hours go. Fix what's slowing you down. And never allow the same distraction to waste your time 2 days in a row. That's how change happens in small decisions made consistently. And it starts right now. Number 5, spend 1 hour learning something useful every day. If you want your life to look different in 30 days, start by learning something useful every day for 1 hour. Just 1 hour. That single hour can separate the person you are from the person you could become. It's not about how smart you are. It's about how serious you are about improving. Most people think life will just get better with time. But that's a lie people use to stay comfortable. Life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by effort. And nothing improves faster than your mind when you feed it something new every single day. You have to stop waiting for learning to happen by accident. It won't. You won't magically become more capable, more skilled, or more valuable just by going through the motions. If you're not learning on purpose, then you're just repeating what you already know. And repeating what you already know won't take you anywhere new. If you want new results, you need new knowledge. If you want better habits, you need better understanding. And that only happens when you sit down and focus your mind on learning something that matters. This is not school. This is not a test. This is you taking control of your future. You don't need a classroom or a teacher. What you need is 1 hour of focused learning. No distractions, no multitasking, no background noise, just your attention and something that will stretch your thinking. It could be a book. It could be an online course. It could be a long-form video from someone who knows what they're talking about. It has to be something that builds you, not entertains you, not fills time, but grows your capacity to think, do, and lead. Ask yourself what skill would change everything for you right now. What knowledge would save you time, make you money, improve your relationships, or sharpen your focus? That's where you begin. Learning becomes powerful when it's relevant, when it solves problems, when it builds real ability. Don't just collect random facts. Go deep into things that actually matter to your life. That's what makes it useful. That's what makes it stick. You don't need to impress anyone. You don't need to prove anything. This hour is for you, for your mind, for your future. People spend hours every day consuming content that changes nothing, but they say they don't have time to learn. That's not true. The time is there. It's just been hijacked by things that feel urgent but don't help you grow. Take that hour back. Protect it like it's your lifeline. Because in many ways it is. Think about how much your life could change if you did this every day. In 1 week, you'd be sharper. In 2 weeks, you'd start connecting ideas you couldn't see before. In 3 weeks, you'd be thinking faster, acting smarter, and making better choices. In 1 month, people would notice. You'd carry yourself differently. You'd speak with more clarity. You'd work with more confidence because you'd know more, and that knowledge becomes your edge. This habit also trains your discipline, not just your mind. Showing up every day to learn, even when you're tired, busy, or distracted, builds focus. It builds the muscle of consistency, and consistency is the root of all growth. You'll start seeing learning not as a task, but as a responsibility. Something you owe to yourself, something you do because your goals demand it, not because someone told you to, but because you've decided that being average is no longer acceptable. You don't need to make it complicated. Choose one topic, go deep, take notes, test your understanding, try it in real life. Apply what you learn as fast as possible. Knowledge is wasted if it stays in your head. It has to be used, otherwise it becomes clutter. So if you read about communication, practice speaking better. If you learn about focus, cut distractions. If you study mindset, apply it to your next challenge. That's how you grow. Not just by learning more, but by becoming more. If you do this long enough, your brain starts to shift. You become more curious. You ask better questions. You stop accepting surface-level thinking. You look deeper. You connect patterns. You anticipate problems before they show up. And that awareness becomes your advantage. Most people react, but learners prepare. That's the difference. The world is not short on information. It's short on people who take that information seriously. Everyone has access now, but very few take the time to actually learn something that improves them. And even fewer do it daily. That's where you stand out. That's where you gain distance from the crowd. Not by doing what everyone else does, but by doing what most avoid, choosing growth over comfort. It's not enough to learn once in a while. Once in a while is not a habit. It's a wish. You can't build momentum on wishes. You build it on routines. 1 hour, every day. No excuses. No waiting for motivation. Just sit down and begin. And when it gets boring, keep going. When it feels like you already know it, go deeper. When you feel distracted, return to the page. That's how your mind grows strong. Eventually, learning won't feel like a chore. It'll feel like fuel. You'll crave it. You'll protect it because you'll see what it gives you. You'll see how it sets you apart. While others waste time, you'll be building. While others complain, you'll be improving. While others scroll, you'll be learning how to lead, how to create, how to earn, how to live better. The life you want isn't waiting for you to find it. It's waiting for you to become the person who can live it. And that version of you doesn't come from doing the same things over and over. It comes from learning something useful every single day. Start now. Don't overthink it. Pick your topic. Start your hour and do it again tomorrow. In 30 days, you won't recognize the person you've become, and that change won't be an accident. It'll be the result of one simple choice you repeated daily. 1 hour, one habit, one future. Earn through discipline. Number 6. Force yourself to sit in silence for 10 minutes. We live in a world that's always loud. There's noise everywhere. From the moment you open your eyes, your mind gets hit with updates, messages, alerts, and responsibilities. You're reacting before you've even had a chance to think. You grab your phone without realizing it. You check things that don't matter. You get pulled into conversations you didn't ask for. And by the time your day starts, your mind is already exhausted. That's why sitting in silence for 10 minutes isn't just helpful. It's necessary. If you want clarity, control, and mental strength, you need silence. Not sometimes, every day. Most people are afraid of silence, not because it's uncomfortable, but because it exposes what they've been avoiding. When you sit alone with your thoughts, there's nowhere to hide. You feel the weight of your choices. You hear the truth your distractions drown out. And that's exactly why it's powerful. You don't get stronger by staying comfortable. You get stronger by facing what's inside your mind. 10 minutes of silence can teach you more about yourself than hours of conversation. But you have to sit with it long enough for it to work. When you sit in silence, don't expect instant peace. Your mind will wander. It will fight you. It'll bring up things you forgot. That's part of the process. Don't judge it, just observe. Don't try to fix everything in that moment. Just notice what keeps coming back. That's your mental weight. That's what's using up your energy behind the scenes. And until you face it, you'll keep feeling scattered, no matter how productive you try to be. Silence gives your mind space to reset. You think clearer. You see what matters. You notice what you've been ignoring. And most importantly, you regain control. When your day begins with silence, you start from a place of strength. You're not rushed. You're not reactive. You're grounded. You make better decisions. You respond instead of panic. And over time, that changes everything. Not just how you think, but how you feel and act. You don't need a perfect environment. You don't need candles or music or any kind of performance. You just need to sit. No phone, no background noise, no conversations. Sit down, close your eyes, breathe, and stay still. That's it. Sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest things to do in today's world, because we've trained our minds to seek stimulation constantly. But the truth is, the mind doesn't need more content. It needs more space. 10 minutes, that's all. And yet people say they don't have time. But they have time to check messages. They have time to scroll through videos. They have time to refresh the same feed 5 times an hour. So it's not about time, it's about priority. Silence won't entertain you. It won't give you a quick hit of dopamine, but it will give you something far more valuable: self-awareness. You start to recognize patterns in your thoughts. You hear the anxiety that's been building up. You hear the excuses that try to run your day. And once you hear them, you can challenge them. But if you never stop and sit still, those thoughts run your life from the background. You think you're in charge, but you're not. You're just following mental noise. Silence helps you take the lead again. Some people say they get bored in silence. That's not boredom, it's withdrawal. You're addicted to distraction. You're hooked on noise. And silence feels strange because you've lost touch with it. But stay with it. Don't run from the discomfort. That discomfort is the very thing that's keeping you from clarity. Sit with it. Let it pass. After a few days, something shifts. Silence starts to feel like a reset, like a moment of truth. And your mind starts looking forward to it. Not as a break, but as a necessary part of your routine. This habit doesn't just help your mindset, it helps your discipline. To sit still for 10 minutes without stimulation builds control. It teaches your brain that it doesn't always need to be entertained, that it can be calm, that it can wait, that it can be present without reacting. And once you train your mind to do that, you become more focused in everything else. You stop chasing distraction. You start living with intention. You'll also start to see how chaotic your thoughts really are. You'll catch how often you jump from one worry to another. You'll notice how fast your mind creates worst-case scenarios. And once you notice it, you can start questioning it. Is this real? Is this helpful? Is this how I want to think? That's when you start regaining your mental power. You don't need to sit perfectly. You don't need to clear your mind completely. The point isn't to empty your thoughts. The point is to become familiar with them, to learn your mind, to sit with it without judgment. And just like any habit, the first few days will feel hard, but it gets easier, it gets lighter, and it becomes something you rely on when life gets loud again. Do it at the same time every day if you can. First thing in the morning is powerful. It sets the tone. It reminds you that before the world gets a piece of you, you give your mind a moment of peace. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up, day after day, until it becomes part of who you are. And when the day throws challenges at you, you'll respond differently. You'll have space between stimulus and reaction. You'll breathe instead of explode. You'll listen instead of argue. You'll see what matters and ignore what doesn't. That's the power of silence. It doesn't change the world outside you. It changes how you operate inside of it. 10 minutes is not a waste of time. It's an investment in your clarity, your calm, and your decision-making. And it stacks up. Day by day, your mind gets sharper. You stop rushing. You stop reacting. You lead. You decide. You respond from a place of strength, not stress. And the people around you notice. They see your calm. They see your focus. But more importantly, you feel it. You stop being pulled in every direction. You start walking with purpose. And when problems show up, you're not shaken. You're still. You're clear. And you're ready. Because you've trained your mind to stop running from stillness and instead to use it as fuel. 10 minutes. That's all it takes. But what it gives you lasts much longer. So start today. No excuses. No distractions. Just sit and keep sitting. One day at a time. Until silence becomes not just a habit, but a part of your strength. Number 7, take full responsibility when things don't go right. There will be moments in life when things don't work out. The plan falls apart, the effort doesn't pay off, the outcome doesn't match your intention. And in those moments, the average person looks for someone to blame. They point the finger at their boss, their parents, their friends, their past, or the system. But the truth is, nothing changes when you blame. Blame gives away your power. Blame keeps you stuck. If you want to grow, if you want to really change your life, you have to take full responsibility when things don't go right. That means no excuses, no justifications, no emotional stories to protect your pride, just the truth. What did you do? What did you not do? Where did you fall short? That's where progress begins. Not by pretending, not by defending, but by owning the reality in front of you, even when it hurts. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you blame yourself for everything that happens. It means you take control of what you can control. You look at your choices, your actions, your attitude, and you ask, what could I have done better? What do I need to change next time? That's not weakness, that's strength. Most people avoid that question because it requires humility. It forces you to admit that you could have done more. But once you do, something powerful happens. You stop waiting for the world to adjust, and you start adjusting yourself. It's easy to take credit when things go well, but how you respond when things go wrong, that's what defines your character. That's when your discipline is tested. That's when your maturity is revealed. People who grow fast don't have fewer problems. They just respond to problems with ownership instead of excuses. They see setbacks as feedback. They use failure as a mirror, not as a weapon. When you take full responsibility, you don't get stuck in guilt. You move into action. You learn, you improve, you reset your focus, and you come back stronger. You stop wasting time explaining why something didn't happen, and you start working on what needs to happen now. That mindset gives you speed. It gives you direction. It builds confidence, not because you never fall, but because you always take control after the fall. People respect those who own their mistakes, not those who run from them. When you admit you were wrong, when you say, this didn't go right and I take full responsibility, you set a standard. You become someone people can trust. And more importantly, you become someone you can trust. Because deep down, you know you're not hiding. You're facing the truth with strength. Responsibility also gives you clarity. When you stop blaming, the picture becomes clearer. You can see what needs to change. You can see where you got lazy, where you ignored the signs, where you avoided the hard choice. And from there, you can create a real solution. Blame clouds your thinking. It keeps you focused on what you can't control. Responsibility clears your thinking. It brings you back to what you can do right now. This is not about being hard on yourself. It's about being honest with yourself. Growth doesn't come from shame. It comes from awareness. You say, here's where I went wrong, and here's what I'm going to do differently. That attitude creates momentum. You start building a reputation, not just with others, but with yourself, that says, no matter what happens, I will handle it. And it starts small. You miss a deadline. Take responsibility. You show up late. Own it. You forget a task. Don't explain it away. Acknowledge it. Fix it. The faster you accept the truth, the faster you grow. Because now your mind is free. Free from defensiveness. Free from guilt. Free from confusion. You stop carrying the mental weight of denial, and you start building the muscle of discipline. You'll notice something else when you practice this. People stop making excuses around you, because your standard exposes theirs. You're no longer in the habit of blaming, and that makes people around you more accountable. Not because you ask them to, but because responsibility is contagious. It sets the tone, it raises the room, and people who want to grow will rise to meet it. There will always be things outside your control. You can't choose what other people do. You can't stop problems from happening, but you can always choose your response. That's where your power is. When you respond with full ownership, you keep your power. You stay in the driver's seat. You move forward. Most people want change without responsibility. They want success without facing their flaws. They want progress without pressure. That mindset will keep them stuck for years. But if you decide today that you will take full responsibility for your choices, your actions, your outcomes, everything starts to shift. You become the kind of person who grows fast, who adapts, who learns fast, who moves forward when others get stuck. Responsibility also makes your wins feel better. When you know you earned it because you handled your setbacks, because you stayed honest, because you didn't run from the hard truth, you feel different. You feel proud, not just of the outcome, but of who you became to get there. That kind of confidence can't be faked. It's built through discipline, through integrity, through showing up even when you feel like hiding. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be responsible. That means you stop waiting for better circumstances and start creating better results. It means you stop saying if only and start saying what now. It means you take what happens and you turn it into fuel, not fear. That mindset builds real strength. If you want to change your life in the next 30 days, stop talking about what didn't work and start talking about what you're going to fix. Write it down, make the adjustment, cut the distraction, reset your habits, do whatever it takes, but do it from a place of full ownership. That's the mindset that builds real progress. You'll still face setbacks. That's part of life. But your response will be different. You'll meet them with clarity, with calm, with action, because you've trained yourself to rise, not run. And that difference will be the reason why your next 30 days won't look like your last 30. You're not just hoping anymore. You're building. And it all starts the moment you take full responsibility, no matter what went wrong. Number 8, say no without explaining when it drains your energy. Most people spend their time trying to please others while quietly draining themselves. They say yes when they want to say no. They agree out of guilt. They accept out of fear. They keep showing up to things they don't want to do, explaining themselves, justifying why they're tired, why they can't make it, why they don't have the energy. But the truth is, if something drains you mentally, emotionally, or physically, you don't owe anyone an explanation. You owe yourself peace, and you need to say no with strength. No apologies, no guilt, just no. Learning to say no without explaining yourself is one of the most powerful habits you can develop. It puts you in control of your life. It protects your energy. It keeps you focused on what matters. Because every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're saying no to something that builds you. You're saying no to rest, no to growth, no to your own well-being. And over time, that kind of self-neglect becomes normal. You wake up tired. You move through your day with no clarity. You start to feel resentful. Not because other people are doing something wrong, but because you haven't drawn the line. You don't need to justify why you protect your energy. You don't have to explain why you're not available for every plan, every favor, every request. People who truly respect you won't require long explanations. And people who constantly expect you to give without limits were never considering your well-being to begin with. So stop trying to manage other people's reactions. Start managing your boundaries. It feels uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to being the person who says yes all the time. If you're used to being liked, being needed, being available. But that version of you isn't sustainable. That version of you burns out. That version of you ends up feeling empty. And the only way to take your power back is to start practicing the word no. Not softly, not half-heartedly, but directly. No, that doesn't work for me. No, I'm not available. No, I'm focusing on something else. And then stop talking. That's the key. Say no, and don't explain. Let it be enough. People will push back. That's expected. They're used to the old you, the one who said yes, even when it cost you. And when you shift, they'll test your boundaries. They'll question you. They'll try to make you feel guilty. Stay firm. The moment you cave, you reinforce the pattern. But the moment you hold the line, you break it. And over time, they'll adjust, or they'll leave. And either way, you win. Because your life will no longer be filled with obligations that leave you tired and frustrated. You can't do big things if your energy is constantly being pulled in directions that don't matter. You can't stay focused if you're constantly trying to explain your boundaries. You don't have to argue with people about why you're choosing yourself. Choosing yourself is the explanation. Protecting your peace is the answer. You don't need anyone's permission to do what's right for your well-being. Saying no without explanation builds a stronger mindset, more calm. You stop wasting energy on conversations that go nowhere. You stop hoping others will understand. You start acting from clarity, not fear. That mental shift gives you more confidence. It gives you more room to grow. And most importantly, it gives you the power to choose how you live each day. Not based on pressure, but based on purpose. You'll notice something else too. The more you say no to what drains you, the more space you create for what strengthens you. You start making better choices. You spend more time with people who respect your time. You say yes to things that align with your goals, your peace, your growth. And those yeses feel real. They come from desire, not obligation. From joy, not exhaustion. That's the kind of life you want to build. One that reflects your values, not your fears. The people who drain you the most are usually the ones who expect the most from you. And they expect it because you've trained them to. You've said yes too many times. You've given without limits. Now it's time to change that. Not by arguing, not by explaining, but by showing them a new standard. One where your energy is respected. One where your time is valued. And that standard begins with one word: no. Start with small moments. The invitations you don't want. The calls that don't serve you. The conversations that pull you into negativity. Say no. Practice it. Build the muscle. And you'll find that what once felt hard now feels necessary. You'll stop overthinking. You'll stop justifying. And you'll start living on your own terms. This isn't selfish. This is survival. This is about choosing what helps you grow instead of what holds you back. This is about understanding that your time, your peace, your focus are all limited. And once they're gone, they're gone. You don't get them back. So use them wisely. Protect them fiercely. Say no clearly. And when someone asks why, remember, you don't owe them anything. Not because you're rude, but because you're clear. And clarity is a gift most people never give themselves. But you can. You can stop bending. You can stop breaking. You can stop shrinking to fit into other people's comfort zones. You can speak your boundary and walk away. The more you do this, the more empowered you become. You stop waiting for permission to rest. You stop needing validation to take care of yourself. You stop putting yourself last. And that shift changes everything. Your energy rises. Your clarity sharpens. Your confidence grows. Because now you're choosing what supports your growth, not what satisfies someone else's expectation. and in 30 days, you'll feel the difference. You'll notice your days are calmer, your mind is lighter, your time is yours again. And that change didn't come from doing more. It came from saying no to what drains you, without over-explaining, without guilt, just truth, just clarity, just strength. That's what it takes, and that's what you're building, one no at a time. Number 9, look in the mirror and tell the truth today. There's one person you can't lie to forever, and that's the person staring back at you in the mirror. You can act like everything's fine. You can convince others that you're doing great. You can post quotes, wear the right clothes, say all the right things. But deep down, you know whether you're telling yourself the truth or just running from it. And the longer you run, the heavier it gets. If you really want to change your life in the next 30 days, start with this. Look in the mirror and tell the truth today. Not the version that feels safe, the real one, the one you've been avoiding. You don't need a therapist to get honest. You need courage. Because it takes strength to admit when you're the problem. It takes maturity to say you've been lazy. It takes self-awareness to recognize that you've been blaming people, making excuses, delaying action, and distracting yourself. But that's what's holding you back, not anyone else, not your job, not your family, not your past. It's what you haven't admitted to yourself. That truth might sting, but it sets you free, because now you can fix it. You can face what needs to be changed instead of pretending you don't see it. Stand in front of the mirror, look into your own eyes and ask yourself real questions. Am I actually doing my best? Am I proud of the way I've been living? Do my actions match my words? Have I been showing up with purpose or just going through the motions? And if the answer hurts, good, because that pain is a sign. It means you care. It means something inside you knows this isn't who you're meant to be. And once you hear that voice, don't ignore it. Let it wake you up. Honesty isn't comfortable, but it's powerful. Most people hide from themselves because the truth demands change. It forces responsibility, and it doesn't allow you to play small anymore. When you look yourself in the eye and tell the truth, you kill the illusion that life is just happening to you. You see clearly that you've had more control than you've been using. And that realization hits deep. It doesn't break you, it builds you. Because now you know it's on you, and that means you can do something about it. You don't need to criticize yourself. This isn't about tearing yourself down. This is about seeing clearly. You've been tolerating things you shouldn't. You've been accepting habits that drain you. You've been talking about change but not committing to it. And every time you lie to yourself about it, you move further away from the person you want to become. That's not failure, that's feedback. And it's time to listen. The mirror doesn't lie. It reflects whatever you bring to it. Some days you'll look tired. Some days you'll see fear. Some days you'll see strength. Some days you'll see potential. All of it is real, and all of it is useful. But only if you stop avoiding it. Start using it. Start confronting what needs to be fixed. If your mindset is weak, say it. If your habits are lazy, admit it. If your standards have dropped, face it. Because pretending doesn't protect you. It just delays the change you need. People spend years trying to avoid one simple moment of truth. They keep themselves busy. They stay around noise. They entertain distractions, all to avoid one quiet question. Am I proud of the way I'm living? Ask it, face it, and then do something about it. Because once you get honest, decisions get easier. You stop waiting. You stop negotiating with yourself. You know what needs to happen, and you make it happen. Not perfectly, but directly. No more hiding. No more false starts. You owe yourself the truth, not someday, today. Because until you're honest with yourself, nothing else will stick. No new habit, no goal, no plan. Nothing lasts if it's built on lies. But when you build from truth, you build something solid, something that can handle pressure, something that lasts. And that starts with a few silent moments, eye to eye with the person you've been avoiding. You might cry, you might get angry, you might feel ashamed. That's okay, that's real. And real is better than numb. Real is better than fake. Real is where transformation starts. So don't walk away when it gets emotional. Stay there, let it hit you. Let it crack the walls you've built around your comfort. And then decide. Decide to rise, decide to change. Decide to stop lying to yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about becoming the person who doesn't make excuses, the person who knows where they stand, the person who takes ownership of their direction. That person doesn't need to prove anything. They don't need to impress anyone. They just do the work. They just keep showing up because they've faced themselves fully and they've made peace with the fact that growth only comes through honesty. You can't lead your life if you keep lying to yourself. You'll stay confused. You'll stay reactive. You'll stay chasing things that don't matter. But when you look in the mirror and tell the truth, you start to lead. You start to operate from clarity. You start to move with purpose. And that version of you, the honest version, that's the one who wins. That's the one who gets stronger. That's the one who makes the next 30 days look nothing like the last. So do it. Today. Right now. Go to the mirror. Face yourself. Drop the act. Say what needs to be said. Even if it hurts. Especially if it hurts. That pain will pass, but the strength you gain from it won't. It'll stay with you. It'll guide you. And it will remind you that no matter what the world says, the most important truth is the one you tell yourself every single day. Number 10. Track what you do when nobody's watching you. The truth about who you are is revealed in what you do when no one is looking. That's where character is built. That's where self-discipline lives. That's where your real identity shows up when the eyes are gone, when the praise is absent, and when the only person holding you accountable is you. If you're serious about change, if you're serious about becoming stronger, better, sharper, more focused, you have to start paying attention to what you do when no one's watching. That's not just a habit. That's your real track record. That's your private resume. That's what determines the direction of your life. Most people act right when someone's watching. They work hard when it's noticed. They behave well when it earns them approval. But when they're alone, they let go, they slack off. They do the bare minimum. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they don't believe in themselves, why they keep making plans but never feel proud of their days. It's because their private actions don't match the person they say they want to be. You can't lie to yourself forever. Deep down, you always know if you're doing the work or just playing the part. To build a new life, you have to build integrity. And that starts when nobody's clapping, nobody's encouraging, nobody's watching. That's the space where your habits are formed. That's where discipline takes root. Not in the public eye, but in the quiet, in the decisions you make behind closed doors. Are you wasting time when no one's around? Are you cheating yourself out of growth? Are you running from what you said you would do because no one's there to hold you accountable? If the answer is yes, it's not too late, but you need to wake up to it now. Start writing it down. Don't guess. Don't assume. Track your time when you're alone. What do you do in the hours where nothing is scheduled? How do you spend your weekends? What happens in the quiet parts of the day? Don't lie to the page. Be real. You don't track to judge yourself. You track to become honest. You track to fix what needs to change. Because if you don't know what's happening in the background of your life, you won't be able to change the direction of your future. Your results are not shaped by what you do once in a while in public. They are shaped by what you repeat consistently in private. If you say you want to build a business, but you're wasting hours watching content that doesn't grow you, you're not building anything. If you say you want to get fit but keep skipping your workouts when no one asks, you're not serious, and your mind knows it. That's why your confidence suffers. Not because you're not talented, but because your actions don't match your goals. When you take control of what you do alone, you take control of your life. Because now your progress isn't dependent on being seen. It's not triggered by approval. It's driven by your own standard. That's rare. That's powerful. And that's how you separate yourself from the crowd. You become the kind of person who keeps promises to themselves even when nobody else will know. You become dependable, not to the world, but to yourself. There's a different kind of strength that comes from showing up privately. You start building real trust in your own word. You begin to believe in your ability to follow through. You don't need loud motivation. You don't need constant checking in. You move because it's who you are, not because someone else told you to. That's the level you want to reach. That's the type of discipline that doesn't fade when it gets hard. Some people will never understand why you disappear to work in silence, why you say no to certain plans, why you wake up earlier, why you stay up later. And that's fine, because you're not doing it for validation. You're doing it for growth. You're doing it because your future deserves better than your excuses, and you're finally ready to act like it. When you start tracking your private hours, you'll see the difference. You'll notice how much time gets stolen by small things. You'll catch how often you tell yourself just 5 minutes and lose an hour. You'll realize how easy it is to drift through the day when no one is watching. But once you see it, you can change it. You can take that wasted hour and put it toward a goal. You can replace that distraction with a routine. You can start building something real in the time that used to disappear. You don't need perfection. You need to look at how you spend your alone time and ask, does this match the life I want to live? Does this behavior match my values? Does this choice reflect the person I say I want to be? If not, don't ignore it. Don't explain it away. Fix it. Even small corrections will shift your direction. And when those small corrections are made consistently, your entire future begins to change. This is how you take control of your identity. Not with fake motivation, not with fake goals, but with real choices. Every hour, every day, especially when no one's watching. Because what you do in private eventually shows up in public. The results don't lie. Your mindset doesn't lie. Your habits don't lie. You can't escape your patterns. You can only rebuild them. one choice at a time. You want to be confident? Track your actions in silence. You want to be proud? Show up when it's boring. You want to be strong? Stick to your standard when no one's checking in. That's how leaders are made. That's how greatness is formed. In silence, in small moments, in quiet commitment to yourself. Don't wait to be watched. Be the kind of person who acts with integrity no matter what. Don't need a reminder to work on yourself. Don't wait for applause to stay consistent. Don't depend on pressure to stay focused. Become the pressure. Become the reminder. Become the reason you stay on track. That's how you grow. That's how you earn respect. First from yourself, then from the world. Track what you do when no one's looking. Not just once. Every day. Use it to learn, not to punish. Use it to get clear, not to feel guilty. And most of all, use it to improve. Because you're not here to stay the same. You're here to level up. You're here to become someone your future is proud of. And that version of you is built in silence, one decision at a time, when no one is watching, and only you know if you showed up or not. If you stick to these 5 daily habits for the next 30 days, you will not only see the difference, you'll feel it in how you think, act, and live. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Show up for yourself every day. Do the work when it's boring. Protect your time, build your focus, and take control of your direction. The results will come, but only if you stay disciplined. Now is your time. Don't wait for change. Create it. Start today. Repeat tomorrow, and in 30 days, you'll be walking into a stronger version of yourself.